right, everybody, we are back with a brand new episode. I know it took me a while. I've been gone and doing stuff, moving, situation myself. It's been a hassle. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's good to be back. Like, I mean that too. It feels really good to be back, to be inside this seat. The seat that is hosting FTO Podcast. Toshi J is back also. 2-3 episodes of Table Cheese in like a week and a half. So, hey, like, I may have missed a few days, but we're back all legs running. It is summertime. My kid just got out of school, so this may happen again. But either way, I'm grateful you guys are doing this with me. It feels really good to have like the support of the audience doing this whole singing, song, and dance with me. So, as always, I'm grateful. I had an episode I was going to do before. It was going to be with my kids. As you heard, like in the recent episode of me chatting with my daughter Willow, I had her on here with my other two kids, John and Desmona. And I did a second episode with them as well. But they got bored and said, Dad, can we do stuff that we want to talk about on the podcast? And that was the end of that. So they'll probably come back again in the future. They want to do podcasts and they want to do live streams. They want to do video game reactions. They want to do all that stuff. So they watch one too many YouTube videos, much like myself, and they say, hey, I can do that. So we'll see what happens. Willow's going to be 13 soon, so like she'll probably be doing her own thing going forward. I'm going to be monitoring her, of course. And John and Des, a little bit younger, take a little bit longer. They're probably more behind the scenes doing podcasts, as you've heard before. But they're all very smart kids. They all get like how the podcast world works and things like that. But they don't care too much about the news of it. They care more about like the actual interacting with like the content. So it's a whole different perspective than when you guys been getting with me and with them. Like, it's a whole different preview. If your kid listens to the show and they want to hear kids themselves talk about the things that they like. So we'll see what happens. All that being said, welcome to the show. Let's get on with the news. Now, this news is going to be a little bit older than usual, so bear with me, please. First up, Hocus Pocus is in the works at Disney+. If you see my TikTok, you know I've talked about this recently, but Hocus Pocus 3 is coming to Disney+ soon. So the last year sequel, a lot of people got into it, and they say, hey, let's do another one. Let's give them a third, like nice little hat trick. So get ready for that. Mark Hamill is telling all the Star Wars fans that we don't need any more Luke Skywalker. So the Skywalker family is no more. I think Rey is coming back. Rey is a Skywalker, right? Spoiler alert. I didn't watch the movie, so I don't even know for sure. But Rey is coming back in her own little mini series, I believe, on Disney+. So, like, you know, Luke may be gone, but Skywalker name is still kind of going strong. Next up, Beetlejuice 2. Michael Keaton confirms there are going to be practical effects for the sequel. So you're going to have like some CGI inside of this. How that's going to look, we all know Tim Burton's not a big CGI kind of guy. He's more of like a makeup and, you know, animatronics kind of dude. So we'll see how like this practicality works. Will it strengthen the Beetlejuice mythos, or will it, like, you know, hinder it? We'll see. Also, this is very big in my eyes. Marvel confirms that the new Superior Spider-Man series is coming. So that means Doc Ock in the body of Peter Parker is coming back. And if most of you read the Into the Spider-Verse, you know that was a big character inside that whole thing. And to have Otto Octavius come back for this, for whatever reason it is pretty interesting. Having Dan Sloth being part of it also is also very interesting. Also, I feel like I should note that you do have Winona Ryder coming back for Beetlejuice. Go back to the other story. And Jenny Ortega is coming for this also, along with Willem Dafoe and Justin Trudeau, Monica Bellucci. You know, no black people, because, you know, Tim Burton doesn't like black people. You know, just what it is. I don't feel bad about saying that, ever, because he doesn't. And lastly, in the news, this is lastly in the news for last week, but I still got more news to talk about after this. But the Korean trailer of The Flash reveals that there's another cameo inside of the Flash movie. And that cameo is going to be Ben Affleck. For those of you who already knew, like, you know that Ben Affleck was going to make a cameo in this. Like, there's no real surprise. But you got two Batman inside of the new Flash film. Again, like most of you already knew this. But just making it official, there's two Batman in the Flash movie. I still won't be watching this until like it starts streaming, so I don't really care because Ezra Miller is scum. So yeah. Next up, this is one I'm really excited for. Not only is the Justice League War movie trailer out, better news on top of that, it is rated R. So this cute and cuddly universe of Justice League with like this very polished animation they got going on, not only is there another movie coming out for it, it's going to be R-rated. And I'm here for that. So the Infinite Frontier feel of the Justice League, this is it. With no Jonathan Kent, mind you, honestly, I think that's kind of a positive in all this because you're not really like sidelined with Superman being like, you know, a father who's not really there, kind of like Goku. Honestly, like if you read the comic books, he was never there taking care of his kid. Jonathan killed a cat with his heat vision because his dad wasn't around, you know. So yeah, but I'm really interested in seeing like this World War movie. It's gonna have Jensen Ackles as Batman again. I forget the other cast members of this whole thing. But to catch up on it, HBO Max has all the movies. The Justice Society, World War II, the Superman movie with Lobo and Martian Manhunter, The Long Halloween, the new Supergirl film, Beware My Power, Green Lantern, all of it. All of it's there. Last up, well, no, not last. We got a lot more here. Wednesday star Jenny Ortega confirms season 2 is ditching the horror story of horror. The love story of horror. So, it's kind of like a whole different feel to it. She didn't really give what kind of feel it's going to give instead. But it says like the love story for horror is going to be going on the wayside. I feel like they're going to be focusing more on the story aspect. Because if you really like listen to the fans, like their big takeaway was the fact that it was aesthetically pretty and the dance. I didn't hear anything else like about the story of Wednesday except for those two things. So me personally, I didn't watch the full series, so I don't really give a damn because Tim Burton kissed my ass. But a lot of fans out there really like the feel and the different feel of being friends with someone who isn't exactly like it. It showed like the power of friendship, but in a different way, I suppose. But it's just coming, season 2 still. So if you are a fan of the Wednesday Addams show, well, there's that for you. But yeah. Next up, DC confirms that Cassandra Cain is in the new Birds of Prey roster. Most of you may know that Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown were in the new the Batgirls comic, and apparently Cassandra Cain is taking a new role inside of the Birds of Prey comic book, led by Donna Lance, Black Canary. It's going to be a part of it. I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that Helena is coming back for this also. Don't quote me on that. I think I saw that in passing. It has creative team Jordi Belair on colors. You got Leonardo Romero for art, and you got Kelly Thompson as writer. So I'm here for that. The Birds of Prey comic books always have like a lot of stuff inside of it, a lot of nuance to the characters. My favorite part about the Birds of Prey comic books, it gives you a different view of what's happening inside of the DC universe that you wouldn't ordinarily see in different comic books. And I always thought of Birds of Prey as more of an X Factor, like how like the comic book's X Factor was a government operated mutant team. Birds of Prey can go on their own covert missions, you know? They do what they want to do, but like they got like their ulterior motives. But they're good guys, as opposed to like the X Factor, where most of them like were villains. It was like X Factor to me was more of a poor man's Thunderbolts, but I think Birds of Prey is more of a like Cadmus, but for the Justice League. Yeah, let's put it that way. We got a few more stories for you. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge DLC trailer as a fan favorite character, and that fan favorite character is Usagi Jimbo. That's right, the bunny rabbit from a different universe. But don't call him a bunny rabbit because he will hurt you if you do. It's coming to Shredder's Revenge. It looks pretty cool. I saw like the trailer for this. It looks so awesome. I saw my kids watched it too. They were all for this. They it's like, oh, who's the Usagi Jimbo? Like, I got them. They're in. They ask questions to it. They're gonna be fans of this now. But my kids already do kind of like the turtles mythos, and like it keeps changing all the time. So like as they grow, it grows with them. So it works. It works for us. Next up, Big Barda also joins the Birds of Prey relaunch. I think that's who I was thinking about. Is Big Barda, not Helena. So Big Barda is going to be a part of Birds of Prey. That opens up a lot because not only does it gets us thinking about Tim King's Mr. Miracle with Big Barda, but it also like gives Big Barda something to work with in Birds of Prey. And as I was saying before, it gives us like a different view of what Birds of Prey can and can't do. This puts even more emphasis on what they can and can't do because it gives us like that ability to put heavy hitters inside of this. It gives us the ability to put like the Secret Six aspect, like Gail Simone did with her series a while back. It gives us that kind of view. You can put Luthor. You can put bigger names. Savali from Captain Marvel or Shazam story. You can put like those different kind of characters inside of this, even though they have very strong hyperactive power. You got Big Barda who can go up against something like that and have Canary with her kind of sort of Omega level powers and Cassandra Cain with her kind of sort of Omega level fighting skills going up against these characters also. And like I feel like that is a recipe for a good comic book. I hope Kelly Thompson doesn't drop the ball with the writing on this, because that is where it can all like come crashing down, is with the writing. If you don't put the right characters up against stuff like this, or you don't put even the nostalgia factor attached to this, it can really come down pretty hard. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted. Whatever news comes out for it. I am still trying to catch up. I'm still reading Justice League Dark. Like this is like pre Infinite Frontier Justice League Dark. Justice League Dark has been canceled for a while now, so I got a lot of catching up to do, comic book wise. But I will catch up. I think I'm a year, maybe 2 years behind in DC's entire catalog, because that's what I'm reading. If for those of you who remember, I'm reading the entire DC catalog. Every comic book that DC put out, I'm reading them all. So we'll see what happens. Like, I'll keep you posted. Next up and last up, Minecraft officially launches for Chromebook. When I told my kids about this, they were kind of excited. Kind of like, what? Seriously? Yeah, Chromebooks now have Minecraft. I don't know how the processing for that works, because if you have played Minecraft, you set off an explosion, it will lag your whole computer. So I don't think you can go too hard on a Chromebook, but hey, what do I know? Like, it may be able to compensate for that, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, man. That sounds really interesting. And also, some good news for you guys, comic of the day. I got the comic of the day here. We got like 5 comic books to talk about. But before we do any of that, let's hear what Toshi J has to tell us for things to check out this week.
Hey guys, Tashi here, and welcome to this week's episode of What You Should Check Out. We're going to start with games this week, and from indie developer Vizai Games comes Venba, a narrative cooking game on the Switch that's set in 1980s Canada and centers around an Indian family and tasks players with cooking and remembering lost recipes. It's a story about family, love, loss, and more. And if you're a fan of Overcooked, I think you will like this game. It's like a more narratively driven Overcooked with some good representation in it, as we're following an Indian family and we actually get to see their story. Up next is an AARPG called Thirsty Suitors from developer Outer Loop Games and Falcon Age. Thirsty Suitors is a story centered on a woman named Jala who has returned to her small, gossipy hometown. Family, friends, and of course exes play a large part in the proceedings, and in this RPG we see a lot of cooking, skateboarding, almost kind of a dating sim vibe going on, as well as turn-based combat, and all that stuff piled on top of each other probably sounds weird, but it's actually quite intriguing if you see the trailer. Hollow Body is a survival horror game from Headwear Games, inspired by early 2000s horror. You play as Mika, who lives in a futuristic world racked by decay, and you're an unlicensed shipper working for an infamous ring of black market freelancers. You get stranded in the exclusion zone with limited resources and have got to find your way out of this horrifying world. Watching the trailer, I definitely got Silent Hill System Shock, if you know what that is, vibes. It looks like a genuinely creepy game, and I'm very interested in seeing where it goes. On to TV shows. The Citadel is an American spy thriller TV series from the executive producers, the Russo brothers, starring Richard Madden and Priyanka Chopra Jones as Citadel agents Mason and Nadia, respectively, also starring Stanley Tucci. The Citadel was an independent intelligence agency with no ties to any country. Essentially, it's like Soldiers Without Borders from or Diamond Dogs from Metal Gear Solid. They have no loyalty to a country. They're just agents for hire, and they are dedicated to the safety and security of all people everywhere. 8 years before the series begins, it was destroyed by a powerful syndicate known as Manticore. At the time of the Citadel's collapse, 2 agents received mind wipes and developed 2 new cover identities, seemingly safe from any further Manticore activities. But when one of those former operatives, Mason Kane, runs into an old associate, he agrees to help stop Manticore from achieving its aim to control the globe. To succeed, he will also need to reactivate another Citadel operative, Nadia Sin. But yeah, this looks really good, and it's a decent cast. I mean, Stanley Tucci is in it, so who am I to say no? Life's Journey Animation has a new animated series. It is currently on Kickstarter, and it's about a group of friends that live in a group home and go on various life adventures. We will put the link below for that. It's definitely something that should be checked out. The artwork looks really good. It looks like a good show for kids, and I think it's something important kids should see, to see how different kids live and know that there are different ways that other children live and are raised in the world besides, maybe their limited view of their family dynamic, because family dynamics are very different in a lot of places. And last but not least, we're going to talk about a book, as in a novel. The Late American is set in Iowa City and details Ivan, Fatima, and Noah and their messy contemporary lives. As they embark on the next chapter of their journey, these 3 friends head to a cabin where their lives are irrevocably altered. They explore intimacy, friendship, and chosen family. This book is by Booker Prize finalist Brandon Taylor, and this is his second novel, so be sure to check that out on Amazon, Bookshop, and at Barnes & Noble. But that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll check these things out. As always, if you check them out, I hope you let us know what you think, and we'll let you know what we think. And back to the podcast.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Toshi J. This hollow body looks pretty cool. We were just talking about Alan Wake recently on Table Cheese with Anton Sixxx, and it gives me kind of vibes for that. It looks pretty cool. And also, the Citadel. I've been wanting to check that out. I didn't know it was on Freevee, so that means it's free to watch. So, yeah. I will say, even though the thing has a budget of $300 million, who would have thought that would be that expensive to make this show? The ratings are not as stellar as I thought they would be. But the cast is great. As Toshi J said, I really want to check out the Citadel. I'm all for that, to be honest with you. So, some shows to watch out, some books to look into, a cool Kickstarter out there for you as well. Thank you so much, Toshi J. Glad to have you back. Next up, we got the coolest of the cool, the best of the best, the thing that you've all been waiting for. I am hyping the hell out of this up. Comics of the week. This is the comic books from last week. I'm sorry. I haven't done anything for this week yet. I'm still, I was going to do an episode, again, with my kids. I just gather up some comic books to talk about, the ones that I wanted to read, and, I just went running, and I haven't done, a new one for this week. So, you get stuff from June 6th. So, I'm sorry. Not sorry. It's you're going to have fun with this regardless. But, here's a cool thing. First one, DC Comic Books, Batman, issue number 136. Synopsis reads, Dusk to Dawn. failsafe, the Red Mask have forever changed Batman, and Gotham isn't as welcoming as it once was. Can the Batman remind them who he is? Can he remind Catwoman? The future of the Bat book starts here, and everyone's world is about to explode. This is 40 pages. It's $5. It seems like it's a precursor to the War of Gotham, which is going to have Batman and Catwoman going at it. The writer is Chip Zdarsky, artist Jorge Corona, and other artist is Belén Ortega. It's pretty big names. Next up, The Flash, issue number 800. Don't come to Central City. The Max in the Mirror, Flash family, blitz back, Between Love and You. A lot of different stories inside of this. Wow, it's oversized. An oversized anniversary issue concludes writers Jeremy Adams' acclaimed tenure with special guests Mark Waid, Josh Williamson, and Jeff Johns join the celebration as the Adams run races to the finish line. Get a prelude to the new Dawn of DC chapter of The Fastest Man Alive's adventures from the dreams of Simon Spurrier from Coda Detective Comics and Mike Deodato Jr. Avengers. This is the final issue. Final issue of The Flash. Anything after it's going to be 801, but they're probably going to redo the numbering, so it'll probably be like, issue number 1 of The Flash with a new creative team. And as I told you before, they got a lot of variant covers. The writer is Jeff Johns, Mark Waid, Simon Spurrier, and Josh Williamson, along with Jeremy Adams, artist Mike Deodato, Scott Collins, Carmine Di Ganabicchio, I probably destroyed that name. I apologize for that. And Todd Knock as artist for this Batman Pajama. This is a big 48-page extravaganza. I figured it'd be more pages for like a 800. It says the celebration of Wally West. He's a murderer. He murdered people. Are you serious? The celebration. You don't get out of here with that? Anyways, like Wally's not like this as he used to be. He killed people. He killed his own teammates. What the fuck? Anyways, Marvel Comic Books, X-Men, issue number 23. The Sentinels get an upgrade. Anti-Mutant Fantastis Phaelong has taken control of Tony Stark's businesses and developed Iron Man technology towards the next generation of Sentinels. What the fuck? These Stark Sentinels are hard to beat as old shellheads himself, and are fully devoted to crushing the X-Men. Is this how they're going to introduce like Sentinels to the MCU? Is by using Tony Stark? Is using like his weaponry? Like Tony's dead in the movies now, so like it's highly possible to do something like that. We know Kamala Khan's a mutant. This is 28 pages. It's $4. Are you serious with this? So like they got Tony Stark Sentinels, Iron Man Sentinels. I mean, if you wanted to prove a fact that like the X-Men did not in fact win, I still think about that a lot. I wrote an article a while back saying that the X-Men won. Like, the X-Men, how do I put this? The X-Men is an allegory for, LGBTQ rights, for Black Lives Matter, for women equality. And with all like the new abbreviations, BLM, LGBTQIA+, feminist rights, like all those organizations getting more and more fruit, getting more and more recognized and well known since 2016, and just going all legs running, and it was being bought and sold by a lot of different people, like metaphorically and literally. And I made articles saying like, did the X-Men win? Because like all these things are changing, like we can like roll progress, and now we got a few politicians, much like Trump and DeSantis, putting out a word view that most people are listening to and trying to put a hindrance on BLM and LGBTQIA+ and other organizations out there that are all about equality and rights of the minority. And this makes me think like how they're going to incorporate stories like this into the MCU, because as you and I, the listener, and myself know, when it comes to Marvel and their comics, they put a lot of parallels from their comic books into their live action iterations. So, how is this going to work? How is this going to work? Because X-Men is the saving grace of the MCU, and we all know that. This is interesting. The writer is Gary Dugan, Josh Cassara. This is wild. This is interesting. Next up, more X-Men. X-Men, Immortal X-Men, issue number 12. A Colossal Mistake. The Quiet Council gather to fill the empty seat. It's the last chance to make a smart, kind decision to prevent the fall. Luckily, the deciding vote is in hand of trustworthy old Colossus. Let's hope he hasn't got plans to ruin everything. That would be terrible. The synopsis actually reads that way. That was not me ad-libbing. It's 28 pages, also $4. I don't know what to think of this. Like, Colossus is helping out the Quiet Council? What the hell? We'll see what happens, man. Karen Gillian is part of this, the writer, and Lucas Wernick is the artist. Next up, we got Steelworks, and I do believe this is the last one. The synopsis is enormous. Synopsis, Steelworks, issue number 1, chapter 1, City of Tomorrow. Forging the future, the metropolis of the future is here today, but can't it survive a terrorist who's out for revenge against its builder, John Henry Irons, aka Steel, and his company, Steelworks, and who possesses secrets that can undo everything John has worked so hard to build. While John's professional life is firing on all cylinders, his personal life is even better. As his on-again, off-again relationship with Lana Lang may be back on permanently, now he must decide whether it's time to give up being Steel once and for all. But does John even know who he would be without his superhero identity? How does the other Steel, John's niece, Natasha Irons, feel about his monumentous decision? Does any of that matter if Steelworks crumbles around him when he lacks the superpower to fight back? Writer Michael Dorn, the voice of Steel in Superman animated series, teams up with artist Sammy Baris of Harley Quinn and Catwoman to bring you the next chapter of Steel's saga in this not-to-be-missed 6-issue miniseries. First off, having Michael Dorn show up, Worf from Star Trek, in this is pretty incredible, first and foremost. Secondly, what? Lana Lang is still in this? She's not Superwoman anymore? Is she Superwoman in this? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This is 32 issues, also $4. This is impressive. 6 issues, though. And the covers, the variant covers, most definitely. Happy Pride Month. Because, Natasha Irons. Yeah. Very cool. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. Like, I think I already told you, the artist and the writer's name about this. But, yeah. Yeah. Oh, here's some other news, some side news, where Chris Hemsworth and Idris Elba is in Extraction number 2. So, there's that as well. But that wraps up the show. That's all I got. Any side stuff to say to you guys after the fact? If you notice that, FTO is posting, just sporadic stuff on Instagram, just go with it. I'm exhausted. And instead of taking a break, I'm just pushing myself. I'm getting to that point of taking a break because I've been I tried to take one in December. Didn't work out that well. Tried to take one back in March-ish. Didn't work out that well. So, give me time. Give me time. I'll take a proper break, staying off the internet and stuff like that. But I don't really have much to say this week. Like I thought I would, because the Summer Fest just happened. A lot of games are coming out. The summertime blockbuster thing is happening because Rise of the Beast with Transformers is doing pretty well. The Across the Spider-Verse is doing pretty well. All the movies nowadays, that are coming out are hot. They're on fire. Comic books are doing all right from what I've seen. Nothing's really sticking out to me comic book wise. I do need to catch up in reading. I feel that's where I'm slacking on. It's my reading. I got Dante's Inferno audiobook in my head, but I haven't really been going at it. So I need to finish Dante's Inferno. When I finish Dante's Inferno, things are going to change for me. And I do feel that. But I also been doing a lot more audiobooks. I finished X-Men audiobook. Audio drama. Check it out. I highly recommend the X-Men audio drama. Check it out. If you are a fan of X-Men, especially Claremont X-Men, check it out. Like, seriously. Check it out. It is all the best part about Chris Claremont's X-Men put into an audio drama, and like it doesn't miss. It doesn't miss at all. I checked out Long Halloween audio drama. Also really good. It is the Long Halloween, so if you watch like the animated film, if you read the comic books, it is exactly that. It's like it's a good representation of like what you feel when you read the comic book, but it's done really well. I am currently doing the Batman Audio Adventures audio drama. Like, it seems like audio dramas is the name of the game for me right now, because I do mostly political podcasts, because I gotta keep up with all this politics stuff, man. Sporadic podcasts that are out there, like just random stuff out there, I haven't really had like the urge to listen to. I do still listen to Kind of Funny every once in a while, but TV shows have been taking a back seat after the GPT thing, and a lot of shows are getting canceled or being put on pause, and then like the Company You Keep was canceled, and now Grand Crew is canceled. I'm taking a break from TV shows. I feel like this is what happens when things get too well. If you guys check out Metacritic and like look at the scores for TV shows, movies, and all that stuff, like you'll see that TV shows and movies are green. Like all the critics giving them high marks. Everything this is great. We love watching this. So like when all the TV shows out there like are doing so well, I feel like, you know, the next best option is just to let someone else do it. And in this case, it's AI. And AI is going to make it well. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to last very long with this strike. I've heard like there's some progress being going on with the writer's strike, because the directors have joined in the strike also. So, I mean, it's like as all of the writers have been saying this entire time, once the actors get themselves fully immersed in this, that's when something's really going to happen. So, because the actors are like the highest paid people next to the executives. So once the actors get into it, I mean, like I'm talking about directors right now, but once the actors get into it, it's really going to change. So we'll see what happens. Ugh. It's just stale right now. Like there may be stuff going on film and game-wise, because Diablo 4 is here. Final Fantasy comes out in a few weeks. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is like it's on fire right now. Street Fighter's out. Everyone's playing it. Mortal Kombat comes out soon. Like games are on fire right now. Like for the Game of the Year, we got a lot of contenders for Game of the Year this year. We just do. So a lot of these categories are being solid. Like they really are. A lot of these categories, like if you are into something right now, this is the best time to be into just about anything, because everything is golden right now. It just feels so stale. It just feels so stale. Like we all got like our own little pockets, our little corners we can go hang out in, like, and not be bothered. And just something about that just feels weird. I don't know. This isn't a complaint, mind you. I don't understand it, and I want to understand it. And like I'm not overthinking this before I get like inbox saying like you're just overthinking this. I'm not overthinking it. It just feels weird. That's all. So it'll change. Like you probably hear me next week talking about like something entirely different, and like I'll probably contradict everything I'm saying today. That's kind of how that goes with anybody, really. But hope you guys are doing well. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your week. Until next time, take it easy. Hey guys, Dee here of FTO Nerd Talk. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends about FTO Nerd Talk. Got a lot of different shows for all of you. Make sure you tune in every week for a brand new episode. Take it easy.